Welcome to Patty's Aquatics. Now in today's video, I'm going to do something a little different. It's going to be a new series of videos I plan on making probably like once a month. It's the top 5. Nothing original. I've seen plenty of these within the internet before, but for me, there'll be, in my opinion, a top 5 of something relating to the aquarium hobby. It could be anything, but today what it's going to be are the top 5 starter aquarium plants for a dirted tank, in my opinion. Before we get started, I just want to say there are tons of different plants that I'm sure that would be great to start up a dirted tank. These are ones that I have had experience with myself and working with, and that's why they're in my top 5. Now that being said, I would like to say if you have experience in certain plants that you find are just phenomenal or great, or you would suggest to be starter plants for dirted tanks, please leave them down in the comments. I'd love to hear what you got to say. So that being said, let's get started. Coming in at number 5 for me is Vallisneria or Dor Sagittaria. Now the reason why I love these plants is because they are such fast growers. Once they get settled into their environment, they'll start to propagate everywhere, which is key for a dirted tank to be able to help suck that extra nutrients out of your water column. But they're not only great for dirted tanks as a starter, they're also great for any planted tank for a starter for that matter. Now the only con with them that I find is that because they propagate so much and they really have a mind of their own of where they're going to go, if they get so thick in an area you don't want them with a dirted tank, you got to pull them out. Which means if you let them sit there for too long, those root systems are going to reach that soil layer and make a mess when you pull them out. So it's key to pull them out when they're smaller and their root systems are only within your cap of your sand first and it doesn't make a mess. So that's a big reason why I love Dor Sagittaria and Vallisneria at number 5. Coming in at number 4 for me is little Bigia. It's one of my favorite stem plants. As you can probably tell if you've watched any of my videos, I have them in pretty much every tank I have. The reason being is that it's a fast growing stem plant in my opinion, and on top of that, I love the colors of it. With a higher lighting, you get multiple colors coming from this plant. You get the greens, you get the reds, bronzy browns, and I absolutely love that. And once you let it grow, you take the clippings from the top to propagate it, and you can put it anywhere within your tank or other tanks. And the beauty of it with this one, compared to the Vallisneria and Dor Sag at number 5, is you don't have to worry about uprooting plants and worrying about your root systems going into the dirt and making a mess. You just propagate at the top and replant. That's a big reason why I love little Bigia. I love it at number 4. Coming in at number 3 for me is pretty much any type of cryptic. Now, the reason why I love these plants so much are because they are heavy root feeders. And that's the whole reason why you have a dirted tank, or to be able to put plants in there that are going to be able to benefit from the nutrients they're going to get out of that soil. Now, they are slower growers in my opinion, but they come in different colors and varieties. So basically, whatever type of tank you want and situation you're looking for size of plant, they have them. Now, the best thing about them too is that once they mature and they get established, they can start to propagate themselves and you can get more of them. So they're a slowing growing plant like I just mentioned, but to be on this list of top 5 starter plants, it really has nothing to do with fast growing and excess nutrients they pull out of the water. It's because it's a centerpiece plant. It's one of those type of plants that you're going to want to put somewhere and realize how big they get and use that as a centerpiece to put other plants and hardscape around to make your dirted tank look even much better. Number 2 on my list is one of my all-time favorite stem plants for starting up a dirted tank, and that is Pogostemon stellatus octopus. Now this is a true weed of a plant. It grows so fast once it's established, and it can grow very tall, and I absolutely love the look of it with its whispering leaves. It almost looks like a tree floating back and forth within your water flow. Now the great thing about this plant, besides that it's very fast growing and big sucker of excess nutrients out of your water column, is once you propagate it, not only can you put that clipping back into your tank somewhere to grow another one, but where you clipped it, you have 4 new shoots coming out of that stem, and then it'll keep growing and growing. So every time you make a cut, you can get that plant to be thicker and thicker. And not only that, this plant can also be floated. It doesn't have to strictly just be in the substrate. It is very versatile to be able to be a floating plant and a stem plant. So that is why it's at number 2 of my all-time favorite starter dirted tank plants. And then coming in at number 1 of my all-time favorite starter plants for a dirty tank. It might surprise you, but it's really any type of floating plant, and that includes duckweed. I know, that's like a swear word to some people in this hobby. I get it. It sucks. It's very invasive. It makes a mess. You got to manage it all the time. It's always getting into things, but it doesn't have to be duckweed. It can be any type of floating plant for that matter. I have redwood floaters. I have Salvinia minima, hornwort, guppy grass, frogbit. There's a plethora of varieties of different floating plants, but they all have one thing in common, is they help suck the excess nutrients out of your water column, and they continue to do that in the longevity of your tanks. And I think that's highly important and beneficial for starting up a dirty tank. And for that matter, for any type of planted tank, they help you so much. So that is why I have floating plants as number one on my list of the most important starting plant that you should put in a dirty tank. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. My goal this year is to make a few different types of videos with including this top 5 series, some unboxing and reviews, just to kind of add to the different type of content I add to this channel. So if you find this interesting, please consider hitting that subscribe button. If you do, make sure you hit that notification bell because you don't want to miss any of those upcoming projects. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you next time here at Patty's Aquatics.